I would agree with him because, you know, when I moved from Mumbai, which is a very big, busy city, to the Oroville, where I live now on the beach, a cat moved in with me. I have a very open house, and the cat, we were coexisting. She wasn't my pet. I was living with her. I was watching the animals, and I realized that animals in nature know how to stay well. And every animal eats their food whole. They don't take something good out of it or put something bad into it. And olive oil is not something that's made by nature, it's something that's made by man because we're extracting it from the olives. So I never recommend olive oil either.
Okay, you also mentioned, Dr. Helman, just now, no salt, oil, or sugar. Now, there are people, um, for many, many years, there's been people saying avoid salt. But there are some people that say salt that you put on table salt has been heated to 1200 degrees and is not good for you. But the actual mineral beds where they get the salt from in its raw state is important. And there's books called like the Salts Fix. And there's people who are recommending taking a tablespoon and a half of salt with water a day for health reasons, saying you need it to balance your ratios with other minerals. So I'm quite confused. I always thought that salt was something I was trying as hard as I could to avoid, but now I'm being told that you take a table and a half a day of salt. I had originally heard that it caused heart attacks and strokes, and now I'm being told no. Is there science or data or something clear to help me understand how to approach salt? I certainly don't want to increase my chance of a stroke yet. I want the benefits if they're telling me that I'm supposed to have that.
Yeah, Steve. So the evidence I would suggest you look at are a few things. Number one, look at the changes in the Western American diet over the last 100 years. And if you look at a graph of the increase of salt, sodium chloride in the American diet, it's gone up tremendously uh, over the last 100 years, and up until about 1980. And in about 1980, we started realizing that if you add salt to your diet, you end up with a much higher risk of high blood pressure from the increased sodium. So about 1980, the warning came out that you need to decrease the amount of salt. So yes, if you look at 1980, it did come down, but we're still eating, the American diet still has so much more sodium than it did 100 years ago. And here's the problem. If just like I mentioned, the studies that looked at what happens if you eat a high fat or an oil diet, you get damage to the inside of your blood vessels. It turns out that if you eat a salty meal, for most people, now there are maybe 5% of people who have a different type of metabolism, but for the vast majority of people, when you give them a high salt diet, they're actually getting damage to their blood vessels. That's evidence number one. Number two is that the other scenario would be let's say you happen to be a carpenter or you work outside or you're an ultra athlete and you're literally sweating 4 hours straight in the heat almost every day. When that's happening, yes, in the sweat, you are going to need to supplement with sodium or electrolytes. But what's happened is, unfortunately, there's this whole industry now of supplementing salt, and it's a case where it's the marketing and selling the product over people's health. So from a health perspective, the vast majority of people do not need and should not be adding extra salt to their food. Now, from the big food industry perspective, they want things that are shelf stable that they can, from a distribution standpoint, have sit on a shelf of a supermarket for a year without going bad. And one way to do that is to add extra salt. So that's one reason why there's so much more salt in the American diet now than previously. But what I would encourage you to do is not look at one marketing piece. I would say just take a step back and look at the evidence. Number one, there's much more salt in the American diet now than there was 100 years ago. And frankly, if you go back thousands of years ago, where humans evolved, the diet that our ancestors had normally did not have as much salt as we do in our current diet.
I kind of agree with that. And I come from a hot country where we are sweating all the time. And I've also seen that if you go to a farm sanctuary, then they leave salt licks for the animals. Or like when I went to Africa, I also saw that, you know, in the centers, they would have a salt lick so that the animals could come and have some salt. So we allow a little bit of Himalayan salt or rock salt to be added to the food. But having said that, we rarely use packaged food. Actually, we never use packaged food, and not even canned beans or anything. So we do add a little bit of salt to our food. And I totally agree with you that packaged food has far too much.
And if someone has the good variety of salt, the original, not heated to 1200 degrees, not bleached salt, and they add it to the diet, does that increase their chance of stroke or heart disease, or it doesn't?
So I'm
I
not
think
100% sure, but I've never actually had people do completely salt free. So I'm sugar and oil free, but not salt free. And that's because, you know, my endeavor is to get everyone on this diet as far as possible. And if the food, I mean, salt adds flavor to the food. So I don't say 100% salt, maybe just low salt or have more fruits and vegetables where anyway you don't need too much salt. So I don't know for sure, but I have seen some cases of high blood pressure who do better when they cut out the salt. And many of the cases of high blood pressure that I see, they get better despite having some salt. So I'd have to look at a lot more patients to be able to say something here.
Yeah, so in my experience, people who, if they're eating extra sodium chloride salt, whatever, whether it's Himalayan salt, etc., their risk of stroke and heart disease goes up. Now, there are other salts like magnesium salts that actually will lower blood pressure and relax. And, unfortunately, most people are deficient in magnesium because the best source of magnesium is from plants. And the average American, at least, is not eating much fruits or vegetables. And so they're not getting magnesium and they're deficient in magnesium. So when I was talking about avoiding added salt, I was talking about sodium chloride.
Okay. Um, just going back to the basic first question of them all, for the people who are joining this call tonight and they eat chicken, fish, or steak every night. That's what they have every night, and they're still not, they don't feel there's that much a compelling reason to eat a whole food plant-based diet. Um, is there science, data, hard information that says that your chance of heart disease, cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, COPD is clearly lower with a whole food plant-based diet than eating a diet that includes animal products? Is that something that we just like to think because we eat plant-based, or is there clear science about that?
There's clear published science. And, you know, we have Dean Ornish's book, which talks about his studies, and then Caldwell Esselstyn's book, which talks about his studies. And we can't forget the China study, which combines so many studies. So there's clear evidence on this.
And I would agree that there's clear evidence that all these chronic diseases, they don't go to zero, but they're much less likely if you cut out animal products and stick to whole foods without added salt, oil, and sugar. And to me, one of the most powerful pieces of evidence is when they go to uh, countries where they're eating mainly a whole food plant-based diet without animal products or very, very small amounts of animal products. It's almost impossible to find a case of a heart attack or high blood pressure. So these are, to my mind, these are symptoms of a Western unhealthy diet that in a state of nature, normally we're evolved to eat mainly plants without added salt, oil, and sugar. Because yeah, guess what? Our ancestors, most of them did not have easy access to oil.